the Titans, which is a completely new type of advancement. Every player is going to be able to choose which path they want to follow, and they're not limited by class. So one of the interesting things about this system is that a rogue, for example, would be able to choose any one of the paths. So, some rogues might choose one path, others might choose another one. There also might be priests that are choosing the same path. So there are a bunch of new abilities and that sort of stuff in each one of those paths that you'll be able to choose between. So it adds kind of another your character customization. And in addition, we have the mastery system. Mastery system, more than anything else, is a way for us to prune some of the complexity out of the talent trees that we feel, doesn't really need to be there. There are a lot of talent, much stuff put in them. They were talents that we made because we thought they'd be cool and fun, but because they didn't increase your character power very directly in a tangible way, like increased damage or increased healing, the talents tended to not work out. So we ended up over time having to put a lot of damage or healing or whatever, a lot of character power into those talents. So it allows us to kind of take some of that character power out of those talents, kind of fun, interesting choices between the talents, and turn them into a passive bonus for spending. Again, Greg will talk about this in more detail later, but essentially what it means is that as you spend points in a talent tree, your character will become more powerful in certain ways that you're used to right now, like increased crit chance or increased damage or those sorts of things, increased poison damage, that sort of thing. In addition, we have an awful lot of new content. So, of course, to go with all these zones, we have a lot of new dungeons, we've got new raids, new creatures, quests, items, the whole shebang. So all that stuff that everybody's used to. And with that, I'm going to actually turn it over to Corey to talk about that in a little bit more detail.
Hey, guys. So I'm going to get into some details about the new zones and a little bit more details also about how exactly we're changing some of the classic zones. So as you saw earlier in what we've been talking about, the Cataclysm affects everything. It's all going to be a little different. Some zones might get a little more, some might get a little less, but you're definitely going to see new things everywhere that you go. As Tom talked about, we've got 5 new zones that are basically level up zones that are going to get you to our new cap of 85. And then as well, we have the 2 new starting zones. We're doing something a little different this time. Zones are going to be 1 to 15. Now, this is a big hit I think everyone's really going to like. You're going to be able to fly everywhere in Azeroth now. We're planning no restrictions, no not flying over Wintergrasp anymore, none of that. You're going to be able to go wherever you want. Yeah. So as I was mentioning before, we have different scales of change. And so, like you saw in the video, some zones are really affected by the Cataclysm just based on where they are in their locale. Some zones will have a smaller effect. For example, something like Elwyn won't be changed different quests. There'll be new quest flow, different things. But then you look at a zone like Barrens, it's been completely sundered in half and split into Northern Barrens and Southern Barrens. So it's been really affected. One thing that this does, we're actually going to change the level flow for the entire leveling experience from 1 to 60. That you might know now as a level 20 zone might end up being a level 40 to 45 zone. And as we mentioned, everything in the old world will be flyable.
The mobs are out there leveling up as we speak.
Yeah, they're working on it right now. So you can see here's a little cutout of our new zone flow that we're thinking about. And now one of the goals here is that we actually want to have the zones cover a smaller range of levels. Currently, if you take a zone like Stranglethorn Vale, I think it covers, 15, almost 20 levels right now in that one zone. What we'd like to do is actually use the zone and spread you out through it so the quests flow a little bit better. So as you can see here, like a zone like Hillsbrad has gotten into Arathi, and then what you're used to before, you were going to cut open a path into Hinterlands and let you actually flow through that direction. And one thing to note on Alliance finally lost South Shore. Things are
We were there today. Nobody was defending it, so that's what happened.